Every year we get a fun surprise at Fat Quarter Shop from Robert Kaufman Fabrics. So just like Pantone Color of the Year, they have a Kona Color of the Year. And so this year's color is Kona Crush, and they really crushed it because I love this color. It's really fun. But what's really also fun is Kevin and I have to buy the fabric totally sight unseen. So we have no idea what color it is. But this year I really did love the color, so I asked Robert Kaufman to put together an exclusive free pattern for Fat Quarter Shop. And just remember, this will work with any Kona solid. Let's get started. Your first step is to go to fatquartershop.com and search Crush. You're going to download this free pattern, and you're going to need 4 3/4 yards of your print, 4 yards of your white, and then you'll also need binding and backing. So get your fabric and let's get started. Once you have your pattern downloaded, you're going to go to page 2 and cut all of your fabrics. Fabric A is going to be your dark fabric, and fabric B is going to be your white. And we're going to start on page 3, and that is going to be step 1. And the pattern is easily labeled step 1, step 2, so you know where we're at. We're going to make 1 block today, and what that's going to be is 1 red square and 1 white rectangle. And what you're going to do is follow the pressing according to the pattern. You're going to press toward your dark fabric, and you're going to make 2 of these for each of your blocks, and you also have the option if you want to press open. And you're going to make a total of 96 units, but for each block 2. For step 2, you're going to take your 5.5 by 8.5 inch dark fabric and your 2 5.5 inch fabric B squares. And this method right here is just corner square units. I'm going to draw a line on the wrong side. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because the Kona solids don't have a right or wrong side. So on one side, you're going to draw your line. Your first thing you're going to do is on the left side of the rectangle, place one of your squares with the line this direction. You're going to stitch directly on that line. Once you've stitched on the line, you're going to trim 1/4 inch away and press toward the darker fabric. Then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, and your rectangle is going to go this direction. You're going to stitch on the line, trim 1/4 inch away, and you're going to get this unit. You're going to press toward the darker, but we did press open just to make it easier. You're going to make a total of 48 of these units and 1 per block. One thing I wanted to show you though is when you trim this away, you have this excess fabric over here. So once you trim 1/4 inch away, what you can do is sew a 1/4 inch seam, press, and you will have all these extra half square triangles that you can save for another quilt, or you can put on the back of your quilt. So this is a great way to make half square triangles from your corner square units. Now for step 3, you're going to take 2 units from your step 1, your step 3 unit, and you're going to make sure your red diagonal goes this way and your red fabrics go here. So just pay attention to the placement. Stitch with a 1/4 inch seam. You don't have anything that you have to line up, and this is going to be your unit, and you're going to make 48 of these. Once you have step 4 done, you're going to do something similar as step 2 for your step 5. You're going to take your dark large squares, draw a line from corner to corner, and here the most important part is paying attention to what corner this goes on. So this goes on this corner. You're going to stitch directly on that line, trim 1/4 inch away from the seam, and then you're going to do the same thing here on the bottom right, and then your block is going to start looking like this. And you're going to also make 48 of these. It looks like this. If you save your extra fabrics that's over here and sew with a 1/4 inch seam, you're going to get some units that look like this. So then you will have even more units you can put on the back of your quilt. Once you sew the squares on, you're going to press open. And the reason we're going to be pressing open here is once you start putting your blocks together, you want to have room for your seams to breathe. Once you have your 48 blocks done, you're going to lay them out in 8 rows of 6 blocks. And when you put them together, I'm going to give you some tips on pinning. So what you'll do is pin on each side, And then here, you want to pin where you line up that diagonal, and that's why we pressed open right there. So you just pin right there. And then also in that very first step 1, if you press toward the red, you'll have a little bit of a bump here, but we pressed open. So what you can do is put your pin right here, and you're gonna sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and when you open that seam, these points should line up for you. So we have our quilt all finished and quilted, but I wanted to show you how you lay out the blocks to form this secondary white unit right here. So this is going to be the most important part, is laying this out so that you get this secondary unit. I love this quilt. It's so easy. My biggest tip is I preferred when I piece this to press open so that everything would lie nice and flat. And with quilting, you can do a red thread or a white thread, but we really felt like a white thread really accented this well. I hope you had fun today with the Crush Quilt by Robert Kaufman. In the comments, let us know what you think the color of the year should be for 2024, and make sure to join me every Friday for my weekly live streams.